It's Leigh, bitch!
Come get the tea from me. LVB. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the What's the Gossip podcast. And today we have the gorgeous, sexy, and hilarious, and of course humble Leigh Van Bryan back hosting. But I'm also being joined today by the gorgeous, sexy, hilarious, and also humble too, Dani Keaton. Dani has worked alongside Superman, Luke Skywalker, Kirstie Alley, and even bloody Beethoven the dog. Hey Dani, welcome to the podcast.
What's up, Lee? I loved your introduction. You are amazing. I love you. I'm so happy that we get to meet like this because we've been friends over like social media, and this is so great.
You need to get on a plane over to London so we can get drunk.
Oh, I want to so bad. I remember I went with my parents when I think I was around 10 or 11, and I fell in love with London. I loved the weather. It just was so beautiful to me, and I want to go back. I remember one of the first person I remember had a crush on, well, obviously it was like Prince William, but then I remember I was on a double-decker bus, and there was these boys going to school, and they were like in uniform, and there was this one boy who was so gorgeous. He had like blonde hair, and I remember telling my sister, oh, I want to come back to like London and marry him. It was so funny.
You got a little bit too excited about a uniform there. Do you not have uniforms over in America?
Sometimes. If you're in private school, yes. Public school, they don't always require you to. But yeah, so it's not always. It depends if you're in private or public school.
I mean, growing up in junior school, we had like an all grey school uniform. So it was very much like Village of the Damned.
Yeah. Yes. I actually loved uniforms because probably Village of the Damned. I loved them. I always wanted to wear a uniform when I could.
So over here in England right now, we're still in lockdown. What's things looking like over in LA?
Everything, I think probably last week, things started to reopen like patio-wise, so you can eat outdoors and everything, but it's pretty much been locked down. Just obviously grocery stores open and all of that. Working-wise, still being able to go in, just kind of keeping the distance, masks and all that, but it's just crazy not being able to do all the normal stuff. Like I love going to restaurants and everything, but I actually been liking some of the solitude though, not gonna lie.
You get climatized to it really badly though, don't you? Like you're so used to nothing happening now.
Yes, and then just having to get out. So I've been doing a lot of hikes just to, do some workouts,
Yeah.
but also just being able to get outdoors, just needing that.
Well, they let us all out of lockdown in August, but none of us over here can behave, so we've all been thrown back in it. We've been in a lockdown now since November, and none of us can behave, so we're not getting out anytime soon.
Yeah, that's kind of happening here. It's like everyone is so different on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen even yesterday I was out somewhere and so many people are just gathered together, and I just feel like I just want it to stop. People need to just let it, be responsible.
I found that the pandemic has brought all the Karens out, and they're out in abundance. And my new favorite YouTube channel is called Karens in the Wild. Have you come across it?
Yes, I've seen so many of those and I just don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand them.
Put on your mask, Karen. It's not that hard.
It's not. It's just kind of like common courtesy, or just doing the right thing. I don't know. It's not that hard.
Do you at least have the nice hot weather, or is it miserable like over here?
Right now we do. We're very lucky. It's so beautiful right now. It's around like 72 degrees, and it's been great.
Oh,
Yeah.
lucky you. Yeah, over here we get like summer for 15 minutes in the middle of July. Just rains and snows
Oh,
nonstop.
I can just imagine, but I actually love the rain. Like I want it to rain more here. So anytime it rains, it's like my favorite.
Yeah. So what did you get up to in lockdown? Did you complete any box sets? Get any new hobbies? What did you do?
I read some books. I actually started really getting into meditation, and so I've been. One of my friends got me into this app called. Oh my gosh! Hold on, let me pull it up because I just started. I was using Insight Timer, but I just started doing meditation and really trying to relax my mind. Because for me, I'm somebody my mind's always racing. I
Yeah.
get anxious a lot, and I feel
Mm.
like because of quarantine and everything, it's been helping me. And I think just overall, I need it in my life. But I've been using 10% timer. Or no,
Oh.
10% app. That's what it is. And it kind of 10% making you like happier or something. And it's a great meditation app that I've been doing. So that's something I've been doing in lockdown. Still teaching my acting classes
Yeah.
and doing all of that. And just kind of, I feel like with quarantine, just trying to keep myself busy, just trying to do a lot more.
Have you come across that app that records all the noises you make when you're asleep?
No, what is
Oh my
that?
God. So basically, I downloaded this app, and any sort of noise you make in the middle of the night, it records it, it logs the time. I snore like a goddamn pig. I've never been so mortified. I chat in my sleep, I cackle. Oh, I sound like an absolute animal.
I want this app because I feel like I do that. I have to.
I had to download it. Someone shared it on Twitter, and they'd record it in the middle of the night, and all it was just non-stop recordings of them farting their head off.
I love it.
If someone did that to me, I would absolutely murder them, wouldn't you?
I love it.
Oh, shock horror, I lowered the tone. Deflecting back, when we first went into lockdown over here, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to finish all my box sets. I had my eye on Ugly Betty. I wanted to do Desperate Housewives, thinking it was only going to be a few weeks. And obviously it went on and on. What have you
Yes.
been watching to try and
I
kill time?
I actually started, okay, I need to finish it. It's just a lot, but I love it. I don't know if you're going to like it, but it's the show called Dark. It's on Netflix and it's a German show, but there's in subtitles and it's dubbed and everything, but it's
Yeah.
like a sci-fi thriller show and it's so good. It takes your mind on a journey, and that actually is something I've been doing a lot of, like watching those kind of shows or like serial killer shows. I'm weird. I love.
Did you watch Night Stalker on Netflix?
Yes, I did. I
Oh my
did.
God, how good was it? Which was your favorite
Well,
bit?
just the fact that the areas he was around was
Yeah.
like where I grew up in. I grew
Oh
up around those
God.
areas. So when I was born, I remember when I was like five, like probably when I was doing Village of the Dam, someone told me, "Oh, I know those areas. That's where the Night Stalker is." I'm like, "Who's that?" And I didn't know. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "That's creepy."
My favorite part was Granny Joyce kicking the shit out of him before he killed her.
Yes.
Legend. But he was
Oh,
so
yeah.
ugly as well. Like, and he had all the women after him afterwards. Like, women be crazy.
They are. It's like that. I don't know.
Mm.
That's like, for me, I find all that stuff fascinating because,
Yeah.
like, as an actor, you're playing characters, so you have to like try to have some like compassion or try to understand the minds of these people. And so that's why
Yeah.
I think I love watching stuff like that because I'm like, what
Mm.
makes them do this or what happens in their life?
Yeah.
You know?
So aside from your serial killer documentaries, have you seen any good films in lockdown? I think the best one I've seen while being in lockdown anyway was Jexy, which is about an Alexa that sexually harasses some guy. What about you?
Oh, I need to watch that. That kind of reminds me of the Black Mirror. There's an episode with like John Hamm where something like that is like an Alexa is actually a person or has a mind and some crazy thing like that. That's a good show.
So what music have you been listening to in lockdown? Have you discovered any brand new
So
bands?
yes, I've been listening to, well, obviously I love Joan. They're kind of like, you might have seen me post about them, but they're a little bit more indie, but kind of that same vibe. Joan. A lot of girl artists that I've been loving. I'm gonna pull up my list right now. I'm glad that I have my
You love a list, don't
computer.
you?
I do. I have to. It's like my playlist, what I'm feeling. Let's see. There's a girl, Julia Church. I've been really liking her. Ooh, actually, Night Traveler. They're kind of like 80s style, and I love them.
Oh, I do love an 80s throwback.
You'll love them.
Are they
Okay,
good?
listen to Night Traveler. They're two guys,
Okay.
super cute, and they have that
Mm.
throwback. You will love it. I feel like I'm in an
Love.
80s, like Breakfast Club movie or
I'm
something.
loving the resurgence of like 80s electro.
Nightly. Have you heard of Nightly?
No, I've never heard of them. Are they good?
Listen to Nightly. I think
Okay.
you'll like them too.
Oh. Is that night as in like
Um,
nightmare or night as in like knight in shining armor?
a knight in shining armor. No, 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 no. Sorry, no, sorry, I'm wrong. Totally wrong. Night, as in like day and night. I can't
Oh
think.
my God. So just before we went into lockdown last March, I went to
Mhm.
DragCon in London and I
Uh-huh.
bumped into our favorite May from the
Oh my gosh.
1975.
Tell me how that was.
Oh my God. So I was backstage and
Uh-huh.
his mum, who's an actress called Denise Welsh,
Hmm.
she came up and asked, could I organise a photo with her and Bag of Chips, who's off the UK Drag
Hmm.
Race? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then she went, I just need to wait for my son. And he came around the corner. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And then to really top it off, his girlfriend was FKA Twigs. So internally, I'm like, oh my God. Instantly thought of you because obviously we bombed the 1975, but internally I was just screaming my head off. And when I went to go tell him that I loved his music, the only song I could think off the top of my head was She's American. All of the songs, can't remember anything but that one. But his mum follows me now on everything,
Yeah,
so
I
when you come over to
love
London,
it.
we need to go stalking. We'll arrange something. We'll track him
We
down.
do. I was just like smiling and giggling the whole story, the whole time we were telling that story, because that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, it gets much worse than that. So Vanessa Williams was there.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
her.
So basically, I was talking to Maddie's granddad, and he wears all these extravagant, like, neon pink suits. And all I heard was someone saying, "Oh my God, I loved you in Ugly Betty." And I looked over and I thought, she looks like Vanessa Williams, but it can't be Vanessa Williams. It was fucking Vanessa Williams. Oh my God. I pushed the person she was talking to out of the way. I went, "Move!" And I went, "Oh my God, my queen, my Ugly Betty queen." And she literally went, "Okay." She went, "This is happening." And I was like, "Oh my God." And then my mind blanked again. And the only piece of information I could tell her about my love for her was, "Did you know your song Save the Best for Last?" And she went, "Yes, of course I know it." And I went, "Did you know that over here we used it on a commercial for gravy?" And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, they poured the gravy over the meat and you're in the background going, 'Save the best for last.'" And she was like, right. She goes, "I need to speak to someone and find out why that happened." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." I said, "But it wasn't me." And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm such an, yet again, I'm a weirdo." So I went, "Can I take a photo with you?" And she said, "Yeah, that's cool." So
I love
her
it.
friend offered to take the photo. And in these moments, I don't trust anyone. So I'm like, "No, no, no,
Hmm.
I'll do it." So I took the photo and then I realized, oh my God, I'm recording it. So I look like an idiot. When I went to go take the photo, the lighting wasn't correct, because I was thinking this is the once in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And I saw 10 feet away a big, massive window with, all the sunlight coming in. I got
Yeah.
her in a headlock and dragged her to the window. And it was all on the video. I was like, "Oh my God." So I watched it back afterwards to take a screenshot for the photo. And I was like, I had her in a headlock. I have no shame.
Lee, oh my God, I need to see this video. Where can I see this?
I will DM it to you.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh my God, I do not belong at these places. I belong in a cage.
What'd she do? Was she scared? Was she laughing?
You could see the fear in her eyes.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It's just one of them moments of shame, isn't it? Okay, so moving on past attacking Vanessa Williams and headlocks in London. You're an actress. How did that all begin?
Well, my older siblings, they were
Mm-hmm.
all involved in some form of the entertainment industry, from like musical theater
Yeah.
to my older sister was in a girl band called
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's Angel back in the day.
Oh.
And then my brother was in a boy band called No Authority. So they kind of all
Mm.
were involved either with music or acting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of how I just kind of got started in it. I remember my first thing I did was like when I was around 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I just kind of remember ever since I can remember I was an actor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of how I got started. And then Village of the Dam was actually one of my first like big things, like one of my first big things I got, my first movie and first time getting to work with those incredible people. And that was super awesome. So that's kind of how I got started from my family.
So if no one has seen Village of the Damned, if you could give it
Mhm.
a quick synopsis, what would you say it is?
It would be about, oh, that's good. I haven't thought of this in a long time. Um, a bunch of creepy kids from a different place here, and we have some powers where we can pretty much read people's minds. And
Jesus Christ, have you even seen this movie?
I, yes, but not in a while. So Lee, I'm probably screwing this up. So you explain it. I don't even know.
The amount of people I've made watch this film and they've never heard of it. And I'm like, it's a cult classic. It's a cult classic. Like, when it was released, it was pretty ignored, wasn't it? To be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, it was.
Over time, I think it's become more of a cult thing, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'd always describe it as just this bit. I always say, like, a town is throwing like a big party one day and then they all just collapse for 6 hours and they wake up, nobody knows what's going on. And then 10 women are pregnant all at the same time.
That's
Woo!
good. That's really good.
And I never tell anyone anything else, and they always go, "Pregnant with what? Pregnant with what?" And I went, "You gotta watch the movie now." So anyway, starting off, those weren't white wigs you were wearing, were they? That was your actual hair.
No, it was our real hair. So I remember my first experience, and I was one of the youngest kids. I was 7. So
Yeah.
John Carpenter really wanted our hair to be dyed. He thought it would be authentic and all this stuff. So I remember my first trip to, I believe, like up north, like we shot it in Point Reyes, California, beautiful small town, beachy town.
Mm-hmm.
My hair, I just remember they started to bleach it. My hair was super dark. And so they put my hair in a ponytail and it was long too. And they chopped it off to like my chin. And then they started to bleach it in like different processes. So I had to go back a couple times because they wanted it like white, like platinum white blonde hair. And I just remember I was super shy back then and I was scared to say that it was like burning my scalp. So I just remember like looking at my dad and being like, "Dad, my head's burning." And so that he had to tell them. But yeah, that was our real hair. But people thought it was wigs.
So at the time, did you realize that you were working with both Superman, Luke Skywalker, Kirstie Alley? Did you realize that these people were like Hollywood legends, or did you not?
When it came to Christopher Reeve, yes, because he was someone that I actually had to read with a lot because
Yeah.
I almost got the lead girl, the main girl in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something where she was a little bit older than me. She can probably handle the role a little bit better. And so it was kind of like when I met Christopher Reeve, my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, he's Superman." And so I kind of knew his height, but we weren't really a family that watched Star Wars. I didn't, that's so sad because like my husband now loves Star Wars, but yeah, so I wasn't really aware of all of that. And I think as a kid
Yeah.
too, it wasn't, I was just there to act and I wasn't such a huge fan yet. Now looking back, I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
Mm.
that's super cool." Like, oh, I'm super lucky.
You've got bragging rights for the rest of your life.
I know I'm so lucky. I really am. Like I just look back. I mean I rewatched it when they did like a 20-year reunion and some of the guys or some people got together to do a little documentary and I rewatched the movie again and it was really well done though. Like I look back at it, I'm like the
Mm.
music was well done and I just all these memories started coming back. Like there was a little cafe, coffee shop that we would always go eat at. And I can just
Mm-hmm.
imagine people would look at us because we would all go in our group. And so we got used to walking in our formation. And I just can't even imagine people seeing like these kids walking down the street with our hair all the same color, just walking down to this restaurant. It just kind of makes me laugh now because I
Mm.
wonder how that would look.
And how lucky were you? You got to have your own standalone scene where you blinded the poor optician who put the wrong eye drops in. What was that like?
I did. I was super happy. That was like my first two, like my moment where I had to cry. And I remember getting my acting coach to help me with that because I really wanted to make sure I was really believable. But it was something where I literally almost got the lead girl. And I'm actually happy Lindsay Hahn got it, but like I just feel blessed to be part of it because I learned so much and I met some great
Mm.
friends who I still keep in touch with, like one of the boys, Cody Dorkin. He's an acting teacher in San Francisco, and he's really awesome. And it was just a cool experience. But I'm glad I was able for those little moments and scenes. And I remember they wanted me to wear a little bow tie too. I
Yeah.
remember they wanted to give me little things. I don't know. I just remember they always wanted me in like a bow tie.
Ooh, walk, walk, fashion, baby. So in the film, there's 10 kids, 5 boys, 5 girls, but some of the boys were played by girls.
Yeah. There was I believe two twin sisters, possibly, if my mind's remembering, and they were okay with cutting their hair short, and they dyed it, and they were super sweet. I remember they were a little more quieter. They weren't. I don't think they were as actively acting. I think they were maybe
Mm.
local hire, so somebody that was more around the neighborhood. But yeah, they were two girls, I believe, and as boys, and they were super sweet. Everyone, we all kind of got along. We really did. I don't remember, at least back then, a lot of drama. Or we were young though too. So
So the lead boy David was played by
yes,
Thomas Dekker, who
yes,
I had an absolute blast with him in London like
yeah,
7 years ago. He literally is crazy.
He's I remember like he was that role because even at a young age he was always super excuse me, I'm gonna I had a little cough. He's super smart, very intelligent, like he knew how to talk, just very aware of a lot of things. And
Mm.
then we stayed in touch for a bit, and then as we just got older, I think we just lost touch, I guess. But that's so crazy. I don't know. Thomas
With
Decker.
those eyelashes.
Oh
Oh
my
my God.
gosh. Yes, I want them.
I asked him, is he wearing mascara? And he was like, everyone asks me if I'm wearing mascara.
And did he wear it?
No. And I was like, a false lash? And he's like, what? I was
No.
like, poor guy, poor
Uh-uh.
guy. So did any of your big scenes end up on the cutting room floor? Because I know there was a scene in the playground where you terrorized some bullies, but that obviously has never seen the light of day.
Yeah, that could have been. I mean, I'll be honest, my mind is like slipping, but I feel like there were moments where I do remember what you're talking about. Like, I feel like that's coming back to me, but I can't honestly remember.
Don't worry, I remember it for you. I was there.
Yes, you were.
Jesus Christ, Danielle.
I'm sorry, I'm horrible.
Describe Village of the Damned. Well, it's about these I think there's kids in it. And I think I'm in it.
You should have prepared me with
Uh,
the answers, Lee, or you should
with
with
the
the
answers.
questions. I
Oh
am
my
so bad.
God. How am I supposed to prepare you with answers to your life?
I'm sorry, I'm horrible.
So in lockdown, what are you missing the most? I'm missing live music. The last proper concert I went to was the Spice Girls.
That was my first concert I ever went to. Was the Spice Girls.
So I went to their tour last year. No, not last year. It was 2018. Danielle, something happened that
Oh,
I was mortified. Are you ready? Are you
okay,
ready?
I'm ready.
So I went 3 times because it was Spice Girls. I had to go. I never saw them in the heyday. I
Hmm.
never ever saw them live. So when they came around on this reunion, I was like to my friends, I'm going to as many concerts as I can. And so the first night that they were near me in Coventry, me and my friend had the ultimate VIP passes. We were in front of the stage
Hmm.
in this little pit. It was awesome. And we were having such a great time. We were going wild. I was so excited, and a security guard came over to me, and he was like, "Oh, hey," he gestured to me, like, can you come here? And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And he went, "Can you just follow me?" And I went, "Yeah." And "Oh my God, I'm going backstage. I'm going on." You're thinking something's happening, like,
Yeah.
they're pulling the audience up, and the next thing you know, all I can hear is screaming in the background, and I turn around, and they're lifting my friend Lucy by the arms, and like her legs aren't on the floor, and she's screaming, "No, put me down, put me down." I was thinking, what's going on? They opened up the side of this venue and walked us out into a car park, and I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And they were like, "Oh, you guys were fighting, so we're having you thrown out." And I was like, no. It goes,
Oh,
"No, no, 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 not us, not us." And they were like, yep, you need to leave, or otherwise we're calling the police. And I was like, no. And I can hear holler in the background. And I was like, no, no, this can't happen. This is my first Spice Girl gig, Danielle. Okay.
oh my
I was
gosh.
like a savage ringing up the venue the next day. I was like, demanding, I need justice. I'm going to go to the
Hmm.
newspapers, all this crap. They went through all the footage, and basically someone radioed in a description of a couple that were fighting, and I matched it to a T, but it wasn't actually me.
Oh my
And
god.
they were like, yeah, we watched the footage back, and it was quite heartbreaking because you're so polite while they're throwing you out. And they were like, "Can you come this way?" And I go, "Oh, this way, okay, yes, no problem."
Oh my.
Just being thrown out. So yeah, then the very next day, they were still at the same venue, so I went again, and I thought, and I only had the standard standing ticket.
Mhm.
I got there early, Danielle. I got to the front again. Don't you worry. And did I behave? Yes, I did.
Yes, and did you get to be right up
I
front?
was right up
Oh,
front.
good.
Baby Spice threw. She had a lollipop and she threw it into the audience, and I caught
Oh
it.
my gosh, I
I
love
caught it.
it. Who's your favorite?
Oh, Victoria.
Of course, Posh. I was Posh for Halloween one year.
I could see that.
My friend made me.
So you all did Spice Girls for Halloween.
I always wanted, I mean, I always related with Sporty Spice, but then there was one Halloween where one of my girls was like, I'm only going to be Sporty Spice, so you have to be like, she was super like, I'm not changing what I'm going to be. And so I was ended up being Posh Spice, but I love her. I thought she was all of them. They all had their own thing.
She's a
I love their
queen.
platform shoes.
See, you should come to London and then we can go stalking the Spice
Oh
Girls.
my gosh, you know it's so funny. Lee, like I do that with my girlfriends too. Like one of my girls, she loves Paul from Laney. And like we'll like he lives around like Malibu and stuff. So we'll hop in the car and we'll go drive and we'll go look and it's great. You never know.
Are you ever successful?
There's times where we'll look on the Instagram and then what we think that we're successful, but we haven't encountered. So not yet, but we're bound to make it happen because we know
We
exactly where
know.
those
We'll
locations
find
are.
you. You're so bad. So at what point in your life did you realize that you'd been in a movie that was so iconic and had
Um,
a cult following?
Quite honestly, when I was probably like 13, 14, well, no, maybe more my yeah, like 14, 15, that age. And people would like kind of be like, "Oh, what have you done?" I thought, "Oh, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that's such a great movie, a cult classic." And I feel like that was kind of the age where I feel maybe some years had passed and people started to maybe pick up on it. Um,
Hmm.
but that's kind of where I started to feel that. And now, like even older, people always say they confuse it sometimes with like Children of the Corn, but they're like, "Oh, you were in that movie? Oh, that's such a great like classic horror
Yeah.
film." So I feel like more recently, like the last, I guess,
Hmm.
10 years, 10, 15 years.
Did you hear John Carpenter's response when someone said that Village of the Damned was their favorite thing he's ever done?
No.
He said, "Wow."
Yeah. He was I'm trying to think. He was super I remember his nephew, I believe, or his son. His nephew or his son, my brother and them got close. Like I think it was something where he was kind of stern. Like he was a nice guy, I think. But as a kid,
Mm.
I just remember always having to make sure, like, it's a job you're doing too. So you have to make sure to listen, pay attention. But I think he was always very quiet, stern. His wife at the time, I don't know if they're still married, but she was more of the um, happier one. She was the
Yeah.
producer on set. Yeah.
So I saw also on the documentary that
Mhm.
a few of you didn't have a good time with Mark Hamill. Did you?
Um, oh, I guess with me, we didn't have so many scenes together that from what I remember, he was fine with me. He was nice. I remember the one scene we did have to do, it was like outside, and I think it was like one of his last scenes or something with like a pitchfork, and it was probably a long day of shooting. So I do remember. That's so weird that you bring this up because now it's like these thoughts I didn't think I remembered. I'm like picturing all of us outside, like in a line, and
You killed him.
yeah, like he was yelling or doing something. And I just remember it was getting cold, I think he was getting a little agitated, but that's like the only thing I can remember is that. I just remember Christopher, he was the sweetest person ever. Like, always humble, always just so, like, to me, he just was so stoic. Like, at a
Mm.
young age, I just remember him being always humble, polite. He had staring contests with us sometimes. So he would always do, and anytime somebody was nervous, oh, that's right too. Anytime anyone felt nervous, he would do the staring competition where he'd like look at you to try to just make you laugh a little bit. Yeah, he was really sweet. I remember he was always
Because
nice.
he had the accident not long after the film, didn't he?
Yeah. And I remember I got really sad. Like even though I wasn't like Lindsay who worked with him so much more, just remember
Yeah.
like he left some impact and maybe because it was my first movie that like it was my first experience kind of just being on set, doing all those things that I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so sad." Because he was like
Mm.
Superman, you know.
Oh, at least you had the privilege of working with him.
Yeah, and crazy thing, Mark. I don't know why I just thought this, but Mark Hamill's daughter and I actually ended up like becoming friends. We still keep in touch through social media. We're not like super close, but we
Yeah.
met just through mutual friends. So it was crazy how like all of a sudden we were at like a party like in our teenage years, and she's talking, and I said Village of the Damned. She's like, "Oh wait, my dad was in them." I'm like, "Oh, who's your dad?" And then one of my friends was like, "Oh, her dad's like in Star Wars." I'm like, "Oh wait, Mark Hamill? That's so weird." And then she like
Oh my
laughed, and
God.
it's one of those random memories.
You also worked with the legends that are Mary Kate and Ashley. What was that like?
That was really fun. They were super sweet girls, I do have to say. I had such a blast. When I first met them, they were first super quiet, kind of
Mm.
just clung to each other. But then after, actually, we bonded on the fact they knew my sister's girl band. She performed at their school or something. Like they went to a really nice school and it was like a fair or something. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, your sister, Nobody's Angel. Like we saw them, we love them." So I think that kind of broke the ice a little bit. Not that they
Mm.
were stuck up or anything. I think it's just kind of like with they were so famous and they were so just like the twin Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. They probably are a little guarded like about friendships and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So when I would talk to them, they were very humble. And I remember we would have to learn all the dance routines together. So before we actually filmed, we spent time learning the dance routines. And I laugh because I look back at my moves and I was so bad.
'Cause you posted that on Instagram as a throwback, didn't it? And I was like,
Yeah.
girl, what the
No.
is that?
Oh my gosh, thanks a lot, Leigh. No, I was like offbeat. I was like not even on the right count. It was great.
Weren't you like wearing dungarees or some shit?
Yes.
It's
They,
called
they
fashion. Look it up.
I don't know why they put me in like preppy clothes and yeah, that was
You look like you were going to paint like someone's room. You know, you put on your scrubs.
oh my gosh. Thanks.
Let me just
Thanks.
let me just drag you a bit longer, innit? So
Yes.
you mentioned they were quite protected and guarded.
Mhm.
Have you had a chance to watch the Framing Britney Spears documentary yet?
I haven't. I love Britney. Like I have a story. Can I tell you a story? I ran into her.
Yeah.
So I like my oldest sister lived in like a place called Studio City, and there
Yeah.
was a Starbucks across the street from her, like apartment complex, and there was a whole like a supermarket inside, a whole kind of thing. So I go in there for Starbucks, and I remember waiting in line, and I see like flashes of like lights coming in, and it was nighttime. Like, what is that? And I look, and it's like paparazzi. I'm like, oh, who's here? And I didn't see anybody. And so someone's ordering in front of me. I order my drink, and I go wait, and I go to the restroom, and I'm knocking on the door, and I hear someone say, "Hold on 1 second, please." And they're in there for a while, and I was like, oh, come on, I have to go. And it was Brittany, and she walks outside and she was super sweet, but she's like hiding in the bathroom, and my
Yeah.
drink's ready, and I go, and her assistant are leaving, and paparazzi are just bombarding her, and she's just trying to, like, she's like covering herself, and she could barely get even in her car. And then I remember I almost got hit because they wanted to keep up with Britney, that the paparazzi just like sped off, and they didn't even care like how fast they were going. And I felt so bad for her because it's like she had to hide in the restroom because like they were super
I
aggressive.
mean, if I was knocking on a toilet door and Britney Spears came out, I would literally just piss myself.
Yeah, she was so sweet. I just remember, I think I'd even, I, it was one of those moments where it clicked suddenly. Like I saw her face. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I remember the paparazzi. I'm like, oh, I get it. And I just smiled, and like, I just didn't even know what to do at that point. I was like, hi. And she was just so, she's like, sorry, thanks. And like, she was so sweet.
You should have got her in a headlock. It works for me.
Oh my God. Rah!
You would have got some press as well if you had Britney Spears in a headlock in Starbucks. You missed an opportunity, Danielle.
I'm sorry. I missed it.
Oh my God, you fool. I would have gone in and robbed the toilet paper then. I would have stuck it on eBay. Britney's used this.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Actually, I have a Britney Spears story as well. Um, it's not as good as yours, obviously, but mine could have had a headlock if I tried harder. Um, so basically, I'd gone to see her on the circus tour in London at the O2 Arena,
Mhm.
and I bought the tickets online, and it was like block A, seat 23, and me and my friends were like, oh my God, we're right at the front, we're right at the front. We were up in the nosebleeds in the attic behind a pillar next to the Christmas decorations.
Uh,
We literally were, we might as well have been sat in the car park watching the concert, and I was fuming, but she was there for like a week solid, every night.
mhm.
So I said to my friends, I was like, I'm coming back next week and I'm going to get down the front. And they were like, oh, but the tickets are all sold out. So I went looking for scalpers. I found standing tickets, and I was like, I'm going to get there 5 hours early. I'm going to get to the front. And but we'd got there so early that the security guards there were like, "Here we go, give us your tickets." So I gave them the tickets, and they swapped them for the VIP tickets. So I was like, "Oh my god!" So of course, because I'm at the front of the queue anyway, I got in there and I went straight to the front of this fence, right next to those couches. And I was like, "This is amazing! Oh my god!" Like I'm literally, I'd say 6 feet from the stage now, and I was like, "This is incredible." Who walks past? Her manager, Larry Rudolph.
Uh-huh.
And I went, "Oh my god, you're you!" And he was like, "Right." And he went, "You're Larry Rudolph." And I went, "You're incredible." And he goes, "Who are you here with?" And I was like, "Oh, just my two friends." He was like, "Where are they?" I went, "They're over there." And he went, "Oh, come get them." And I went, "Oh, girls, come over here." And he was like, they were like, all they said was, "What have you done now?" And I went, "No, I haven't done anything. I promise. I promise. I was just being nice to him." He opens up this gate and lets us have one of these VIP couches in between the stage and the fence.
Oh,
These seats are the ones that they give to, like, Kim Kardashian and
oh
stuff when they were
my
there to watch it. And I was
gosh.
like, and the security guard came out, Britney's security guard, and he said, "You remain seated. Do not raise your hands. Do not touch the stage. Just stay seated." And I was like, "Okay." The concert starts. She comes out and she's in a cage and she clings to the cage door, and they open up the cage. With her clinging to the door.
Mhm.
She is directly above my head, and I'm talking 2 feet above my head. So if I just reached my hand up, I could have rubbed her feet. And I was like, oh, and I was thinking, oh, it'd be worth it, wouldn't it? And my friend's like, "Don't you dare!"
I've only been to a Britney concert when I was a kid, and like I just and it wasn't the best seats. It was like for my birthday, and I just remember it was powerful. She's just such a great performer. Ugh, so
It
coolly.
was an empowering time for
Mm-hmm.
us growing up to have these powerful women just
Yep.
absolutely slaying it. Oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to tell you. Did I
What?
tell you about how I met Mel B?
No.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. So we were down in London for RuPaul's Drag Race, Drag World, and
Mhm.
so on the Monday there was a Spice Girls museum in London that was there for a short time, and the Spice bus was there from the movie and everything.
Oh,
So anyway, we were
yeah.
leaving our hotel, to go get the underground to the museum, and as we walk out the hotel, there's this woman sat on the pavement, um, having a cigarette. And I walked past with Fifi and I went, "Oh, she looks like Mel B." And he went, "Yeah, it does, doesn't it?" And as I'm walking past, I turned around and looked and I saw the tattoo on her arm. And I went,
Oh,
oh my
mm.
God, it's Mel B." And he said, "Leave her alone. She looks like she doesn't want to talk to anyone." And I went, "Do you know what? Yeah, you're right." 3 seconds later, I went, "I don't give a fuck. I have to do this." And I went and I was like, "Melody." And she was like, "Oh no." Bear in mind, Danielle, this is like 8:30 in the morning. The last thing you want to do is see my orange face screaming high pitch. So I was like, "Oh my God, Mel B." I was like, queen of music. And you could just see her going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, of course, someone fine." And I said to her, like, "You'll never guess what." And she's like, "Go on." And I was like, "We're going to your museum right now." And she's like, "All right." And I was there, and she's thinking, I've stalked her out. And I just see in her face, she was like, "Please leave me alone." And
Yeah.
I said, "You can say no and it won't harm my feelings, because I understand that it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, but could I have a photo?" And she goes, "You can have a photo if you filter the shit out of it." And I went, "Oh," I said, "I was going to do that anyway."
I
So
love it.
yeah, so I got a photo there, and then I could just see her going, "Thank God he's gone."
Aw, but you know what? She didn't say no, and like that says something about her too. I love that.
We've been in lockdown. We haven't been able to leave the house. We haven't been able to go to a decent restaurant, go to a concert, go on vacation. What are your plans when all this ends? What's your first thing that you want to do? What's the new thing you've told yourself?
What I really want to do, first thing, I just want to go to like a really nice restaurant, which I can probably maybe do, but I just want to go maybe on a little vacation on the coast somewhere. Like I
Hmm.
love going. Actually, like Central California, it's like the coast over there. There's so many beautiful beaches where you can just do nothing but just be a little bit out there.
Hmm.
And then actually go with some friends and go to a concert. That's what I want to do. That's
Oh,
actually my number one. Go back to a concert, get crazy, go dance, and just be with random people and scream my head off. That's what I want to do.
I mean, like, as soon as this is over and someone goes, "Do you want to go to?" I'm gonna go, "Yes, yes." Don't even tell me
Yes.
where yeah, I'll come. Yeah, yeah, whatever. How
Yep.
much? Yeah, I'm there. I also want to do
Yes.
traveling. I don't know. I think as well, you just want to. Do you feel this? Like, you just want to go around and hug everyone?
Yes. Oh, yes. I'm like, it's hard for me not to. Like when I see people, I'm like literally like containing myself. Like I want to. Yeah, that's definitely something. No, I want to hug people. I want it to be normal again, if that will ever be.
Just want to get drunk in a bar and shout,
Yes.
dance, spit in a stranger's mouth. These are big dreams. One day
And
we
I
will
just want
get
to
there.
dance.
I just want to
Yes.
dance to Britney Spears.
Yes.
Oh, it's been lovely having you on, Danielle. I hope you're going to come on another time, maybe.
Oh,
When we could talk,
yes, Lee. Thank
we
you
can
so
talk about
much.
bands that we've discovered in a couple of weeks if you want. Compare notes.
I would love that. And
Ooh.
I'm gonna definitely watch the shows you recommend. I'll probably start one later today.
Ooh.
It's my day
Well, if
off.
you need the link for that Britney Spears one, I've
Oh
got
yeah,
it
yeah.
saved in my DMs. I've been spreading it like chlamydia all day.
Yeah. No, send it to me. I want to watch it for real.
Thank you for doing this.
Oh my gosh, of course. That was so much fun.
I'm doing a Melissa from Dream tomorrow. Do you remember that?
Yes, of course I remember Dream.
I love Dream. Dream was my favorite, and she
Mhm.
was my favorite. Do you know why? Because she, in every song, she did this, and that's me. She did all the the speaking bits.
That was
He
really
loves
good.
me.
That was so good.
Was it? So do it again.
Yeah,
He loves me. Hang
it's
on,
so
let me do it.
good.
And that's me. Oh my god! So she was my favorite because I always love the lazy people that do the least amount in a pop band. They're
Yeah.
the ones I'd want to be.
I
So
love you. That's why I love you.
so
That's me too.
I just wanted her to give me an ASMR lesson in vocals. Do you know what I mean? And that's me. Like that.
Lee, you have to do this. Is so good.
You,
Do the
you,
Britney Spears one. That one
hang on.
song.
Are you
Go.
ready? Are you ready? Like that. Now watch me. You do. You do it. You do it.
No, I can't. I'm horrible. That was just so good. I want
And
more.
that's me.
Or what's that one song for I'm a Slave for You? She talks in the beginning of it. Like,
I know. I know. I know I may be young, but I got feelings too.
I love it.
Sounds so damn lame, doesn't it?
But you sound so good as Brittany. Oh, so good.
Yeah. Oh God, don't make me fucking do.
I want you to. Wow.
I know.
Well, that's exciting that you get all these. I can't wait to hear some of these stories. They just, wow.
Mm. And I spoke to Danielle Keaton from Village of the Damned. Oh my God.
I didn't even know what the movie was about.
Tell us about the movie. Well, there's like kids or something in it. I think.
Oh
I think.
my gosh. That's
That
gonna
was
be your
brilliant.
trailer for this podcast. It's gonna be bleh.
You're like, so what's your name? It was Danny at one point. Well. All right then. Thanks for doing
Of
this, huh?
course. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and everything.
And you. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.